No Other Land documentary feature that originally released in 2024, but I've only had a chance to see it just now, presumably as a result of its wide release across the world being hampered or seemingly blocked, or at least soft blocked by the Israeli government. It was made by Basel Adra and Yuval Abraham. This film was made over several years between 2019 and 2023 and documents how the Israeli settlers, or really terrorists, if you ask me, escalated their methods of violence and aggression towards the Palestinian communities in the West Bank. The film won the Oscar for Best Documentary Feature last year, and it is quite plainly terrific. But at the same time, it's a very difficult watch, and it will leave you angry, furious, depressed, outraged. I think it should absolutely be seen, especially by people who, like myself, have little understanding of what exactly has been going on in the West Bank, as it shows you directly how the Israelis are literally bulldozing villages of peaceful farmers and trying to drive them out of the land that they themselves then settle on. They demolish people's houses. They shoot those that resist. They quell down peaceful protests. And the farmers are people who've lived there for generations. These are their homes, their land. And the Israelis continue to discriminate against Palestinians, leaving them with no democratic powers over the local politics, and at some point even outlawing their cars, limiting their ability to move. They don't have passports, obviously. They can't really leave, even though the Israelis say they want them to leave. It shows the systemic progressive destruction of one group of people at the hands of another in something that, as we now know, post 2023 events, has escalated into a full blown genocide. I don't know how you can watch this and justify what Israel is doing. I don't know how you can remain calm and not get angry about it all. I also thought to myself, fucking hell, these people, the Palestinians, are remarkable because they're just poor, simple villagers. The movie repeatedly shows you women and children and old men and smiling folk with no weapons, no violence being done by them, despite Israel claiming, of course, that they are a security threat. And then on top of it all, when they have their literal houses demolished, they just come back the next day and try to rebuild. They don't give up and they don't try to take revenge in any way. They just want to be left alone. Which, let me tell you, if someone came with a bulldozer and destroyed my village and my house and my livelihood and then shot my neighbor for protesting, I would probably become a violent terrorist in response. It makes my blood boil to see so much injustice being perpetuated there. The filmmakers, particularly Basel Adra, display remarkable will and courage in documenting all of this, despite threats from Israel and the occasional raid where they risk imprisonment or even their own lives. The film is shot guerrilla style, was edited in a cave, and stands as an example of truth in a world that wants to keep silent about it. I think one fascinating aspect of it is how one of the filmmakers is a local Palestinian, literally living in that village his entire life, while the other is a Jew who doesn't agree with his country's politics. The discussions that result in these two men being the ones to document it all are really interesting. The movie touches on how for Basil this is life, and Yuval is able to come and go as he pleases. He can just drop this issue if he so decides and move on with his life the very next day. And there's so many quiet moments of conversation between them where they talk about what prospects they have for future life, what hopes and dreams, and how potentially impossible to realize they are, especially for Basil. It's heartbreaking to watch that, knowing the film is already 2 years old and knowing what happened since that time. The Israeli occupation of West Bank and Gaza has not only not been resolved, it's gotten much, much worse. So yeah, it's depressing and eye-opening. I think it needs to be seen. It's a very important film documenting a real-life humanitarian crisis developing into an actual genocide, perpetuated by a state that for some reason nobody seriously condemns or punishes. All I have to say on the matter is fuck Israel and the horrible things that they do essentially to their own neighbors. Abhorrent is what it is.